Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today it is time for an all new round of speed reviews, so I'm going to be ranking all of the new makeup that I tried in the month of August. We have 17 products to review today, but technically it's 18 because there is a very kind sponsor of today's video, and this is probably one of my absolute favorite products that I tried this month. So before we get started, I do want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is Amiro. Now, I have been seeing these LED masks and light therapy everywhere, I want to say for the past few years, and I've been so curious about them. I actually saw Tati talk about this particular mask, and she is still someone that I trust so much when it comes to product recommendations. So I was so incredibly excited when they reached out to me. This is the Amiro Spectra 5-in-1 LED Light Therapy Facial Mask. This is actually one of the less expensive masks on the market, but one of the most, if not the most, advanced, because while many other masks actually only use red light, Amiro utilizes their unique 5-in-1 technology to use 5 different wavelengths. So they have red, blue, green, yellow, and near infrared wavelengths, which means it can act on multiple skin layers and multiple skin issues at the exact same time. So first off, this is of course what the mask looks like, and one of my favorite things about the design of this one is actually how it fits my head. So it kind of fits like glasses. It sort of has this little band here, sits on your face like glasses, and then it has these very protective goggles on the inside. So these are super soft. They're not going to leave any indents around your eyes. They're not going to feel uncomfortable. They're very soft, but they still protect the eyes very well. And then these little arms are very comfortable. You don't have to tie anything around the back of your head. You're not going to get any straps tangled. It's just very simple and easy to use. And the way the goggles are designed, you can actually fully see through this. So it's kind of just like wearing sunglasses. So you can still watch TV, you can read. I sometimes work while I'm using this, and I love that because I don't have to add an extra step into my day. I can literally just stack this on top of something else. Now, this mask has 3 main modes. There is the firm, glow, and purify modes. Now, the firming mode combines red light and near infrared light to boost collagen production, reduce fine lines, reduce hyperpigmentation, fade acne scars, and overall just sort of brighten the skin. Glow mode combines yellow, red, and infrared light to boost metabolism, enhance blood circulation, and promote protein regeneration in the skin. And purify mode combines everything. So this has the blue, green, red, yellow, and infrared to promote oil control and soothe and calm inflammation. If you have any sort of breakouts, it's going to help and calm that down. If you have redness, it's going to help soothe and calm that as well. And it also helps to speed up the process of healing your acne scars. Now, the purify mode is easily my favorite just because it really does do everything. And you can use this for up to 30 minutes. But each mode actually lasts for 5 minutes, and it's already timed into the system, so it will automatically shut off once the 5 minutes is up. And once your 5 minutes are up, you can either go in with another session with one of the other modes, or you can leave it at that for the day. You can use this multiple times a week, and you can sort of build up to using every day if that's what you want to do. And this mask, I don't know if you can tell, but this actually has 173 LED bulbs in it. So it's going to give you a very even coverage over the skin. So everything is getting treated. And I like that this is also operated by this little remote here. So while you're using the mask, you're not plugged into anything aside from this little remote. So you just hook these two up together. Everything is controlled through the remote. And once you're done, you can just unplug the remote, and then it comes with a separate cord to charge the remote. And one charge will do you for about 7 different sessions. So I've been having a lot of fun testing this out. I definitely do feel like it's doing a little something for my skin. How I like to use this is I will cleanse, I will put on maybe a light moisturizer, and then I'll go in with this, and then afterward I will add in a little bit more moisturizer just because the treatment can feel a little bit drying, especially as you're getting used to it. But I definitely do feel like my skin has been looking a little bit more clear, a little bit brighter, and a little bit more glowy since I started using this, I believe over the past week and a half. it's been very, very effective. So I'm so excited to keep using this and trying it out. So once I'm done with this, I'll charge the remote if I need to, and then I will just sort of wipe down the inside of the mask just to keep everything very, very clean. And then I can put it back in the box and I'm good. And it only takes 5 minutes if that's all I can commit to. But like I said, in the morning, I can cleanse, I can throw this on, I can go to work. I do work from home, so I can go to work. Once my 5 minutes are up, I can take this off and I've treated my skin. So I know these kinds of masks are super, super pricey, which is why I personally had not splurged on one yet, but I had been so curious. But I will say the Amiro is easily one of the most competitive in terms of pricing, as well as with all of the benefits that you're looking for. So if you are in the market for a mask like this or want to check it out, maybe you're wanting to check out light therapy, they have given me a very generous code to share with you. You can use my code CHRISTY70 at checkout to save $70, and this code is good for 2 weeks after this video goes live. They also have a 1-year hassle-free warranty, 90-day money-back guarantee, and free shipping. So please feel free to check that out if you are interested in shopping the mask. But thank you so, so much to Amiro for working with me on today's video. Let's get into ranking all of the makeup that I tried in August. All right, so August was kind of an interesting month. I am trying to get this video done a little bit earlier because I know I am about to be elbows deep in the holiday makeup launch season, which I absolutely live for. I wait for this season all year long, so I'm very excited for it, but we did have a good month in August. So coming in at number 17 is a product I tried quite recently. This is from the Sephora collection, and this is the Best Skin Ever foundation. I have the shade 02P, and I really don't think I like this. So this is a reformulation of their Best Skin Ever foundation, and so they've changed the bottle a little bit. I do like the frosted glass bottle. I like the pump that it comes with. This bottle does have a little bit less product than your standard foundation, but I kind of let that slide just because of the price point. I just really couldn't work with this because no matter how I prepped my skin, I felt like this ended up looking dry. And once I applied the rest of my products, it wasn't as noticeable, but I just couldn't shake the feeling that it looked a little bit dry, and I just didn't love that. Especially in the summer, I am a dry skin type, so for me, this is the time of year where my skin is its least dry. So for me to be struggling with that dryness now, there's just no reason for that. I do think it's really long wearing. I do love the coverage that it gives. I love that it doesn't have a scent to it. It also claims to be 86% skincare based, and it just felt way too dry for me. Coming in at number 16 is from NYX, and this is their Buttermelt highlighter. I had the shade Bright and Butter. Now, I really wanted to love this because I love the bronzer in this line. I haven't tried the blushes in this line because I've heard they're incredibly pigmented, and that's just not my preference. So I really wanted to like this, and I do think it is very smooth. It is quite buttery. It does have that buttermelt fragrance that all of their buttermelt products seem to have, which I don't actually mind. And I like the shade of this quite a bit, but I did find this to be almost a little too glittery when I first tried it on, and that's just not my preference. I love a bright, shiny highlight, but I don't love glitter on my cheeks. I like it on my eyes, but not on my cheeks. So I just really wasn't loving this as much as I had hoped. This is very, very high shine, so if you love that, you might like this. If you don't mind a little glitter, I think you'll be okay with this. It's just, personally, this one just wasn't for me. Coming in at number 15 is also from the Sephora collection. This is kind of like the counterpart to number 17. This is the multi-use concealer. I have the shade 01P. And the concealer is a little bit better. It's a little bit less dry. It gives a really nice coverage. I like the shape of the doe foot. I found it easy to blend and easy to work with, but much like the foundation, I feel like this and the foundation both were a little bit more work to blend than a lot of the products that I favor from day to day. So for that reason, I'm just not inclined to reach for this. I did find that this could look a little bit heavy and dry on my under eyes as well. So for that reason, this one just did not stand out to me either. Unfortunately, I just do not like the Best Skin Ever foundation and concealers. They're just a little too heavy and a little too dry for my skin. Coming in at number 14 is from Dior, and this is one of their Miss Dior eyeshadow quints for fall 2025. This is in Bold black. I didn't mind the formula of these quints at all. I think they're really, really lovely formula. They're easy to work with, but my problem is more so with this one in particular. I just feel like this color story really isn't the most cohesive to me. This is not one where I'm going to use all of the shades in any given look. It's not a bad color story, but for me, it's just really not that cohesive. I like the black. I think it's a nice black, but you get these two shimmer shades and then these two bottom satin shades. I found the satin shades, it was really, really hard to build them up, to get much pigment at all from them. And no matter what look I created with this palette, I just really didn't love it the way that I wanted to. So while I can get some pretty looks from this palette, they're always going to be very subtle, which I do like, but I just don't like that this color story isn't that cohesive, at least to my mind, and I just don't love the exact finishes. I wish maybe we had another true matte in here that wasn't the black, maybe the brown or the green, that was maybe in just a true matte formula that you could properly build up, properly build it to get a little bit of pigment, a little bit of depth without going in with just the black. And that's just my personal preference. The formula's fine. It's just this color story I probably could have passed on. Coming in at number 13 is from IT Cosmetics, and this is their Sun Blush. I have the shade Sunlit 10. They did send this to me, and I do quite like this. I do think it's very, very pretty. You get so much product in this little jar. You will never go through a whole thing unless this is your only blush. But like I said, this is a cream blush. It sort of has a bit of a glow to it, but it does mimic the finish of the foundation underneath, which I do think is really, really pretty. I think this has a really nice amount of pigment to it, but it's easy to blend and sheer out. I think it looks lovely on the cheeks. It's a really, really nice cream blush. I think I just dropped it down for packaging because otherwise, from here on out, everything else in this ranking I like so much. I'm not as in love with the packaging of this. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just, I'm not as in love with it. So I did kind of drop it down at number 13, but it is still a fantastic cream blush. Coming in at number 12 is from L'Oreal, and this is their Faux Brow. I have the shade Auburn. So this is essentially a brow marker, but it has these dual prongs, so it's going to help you get a bit more of a natural fill. This is also supposed to fill in your brows for up to 48 hours. I don't know. I wash my face at the end of every single day, and I wash out any brow product at that time, but I do think this is a very, very long wearing. It's very easy to work with. It does a really beautiful job of lightly filling in the brows. It's never going to make your brows look blocky or crazy. It's a very, very effortless product. It is the one I'm wearing today. So I've been setting my brows in place with a gel and then going in with this, and I love it. It's a very, very simple brow routine, and I love the shade of this. This is in the shade Auburn. I have said before how annoying I find it that it is so tricky to find good Auburn brow products that are actually Auburn. And I know a lot of people don't like browns that have a bit of a red to them for their brows. I don't really mind it. I feel like it makes me match better. The only thing I will say about this is because it is a marker, you're going to want to store it upside down so that the tip always has product in there. Coming in at number 11 is from Maybelline, and this is their lifter sticks. I have the shade 30. Now, something about this product just kept calling to me, and I had no idea what it was. I haven't had something at the drugstore call my attention as much as these. Now, these are supposed to be like a multi-use product. You can use it for contour, highlight, foundation, concealer, anything you want. And for some reason, something told me to pick one of these up in a bronzer shade and use it as a stick bronzer, and I am so glad I did. So in case I forgot to say it, I have the shade 30, and I have been loving this as a bronzer stick. I like to just take a bit of the product off the stick with my brush and blend it in. This is the perfect neutral shade. It does lean a little bit warm, but it's the perfect neutral. It blends out beautifully. It's so effortless. It stays in place all day long. It has a bit of a glow to it, but it's another one of those that has that sort of natural finish that's going to mimic the finish of the foundation. And I was just so unbelievably impressed with this. I have worn this alone with my foundation. I have set it with a powder bronzer, and I just always think it looks fantastic, and it's just so easy to apply. The tone of this is also perfect. I think because it has more natural skin tones as part of the range, I think that's why I end up loving the shade so much, but this is excellent. Coming in at number 10 is from About Face, and this is their 1994 mascara. I really wasn't sure if I was going to love this, but I actually do. So the reason I wasn't sure is because of the wand. It has this sort of tapered wand to it, which I don't mind, but it does have these really short rubber bristles, and I don't really love a rubber bristle wand personally because I find that if they get too close to your lash line by accident, whatever happens, it can just poke and it just really hurts. So I do personally very much prefer a fiber bristle wand. This is actually fantastic. This is so lengthening. It gives me a little bit of volume, but I find what I mostly get from this is just a really beautiful amount of length, and it does make my lashes look a little bit thicker, and it wears all day long. It doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, and it's easy to take off at the end of the day. I was so pleasantly surprised by this. I do prefer the mascaras that give me that volume as well as the length. I love my Max Stack Elevated. I really love my Lancome Flutter Extension, the Rare Beauty mascara, my all-time favorite, which is the YSL Lash Clash. That's my all-time favorite, but this is still a really fantastic option. I've really been enjoying it. If you're looking for a good affordable mascara, this is a great one. Coming in at number 9 is a brow gel, and this is the Maybelline Super Lock Brow Glue. I've really been enjoying this. So this packaging is somewhat similar to the NYX Brow Glue that I also really loved, but for the last couple of years, I have been exclusive to the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. I recently tried the Makeup by Mario as well, and I really love that. But I do love the idea of a very affordable brow gel because it's something that I definitely go through quite quickly because I use it every single time I do my makeup. So this is, I would say, much more intense than the Rare Beauty. I would say it's on par with the Makeup by Mario, but it's thicker than that one. I would say this is kind of quite similar to the NYX Brow Glue. This gives such a thick hold. This will lock your brows in place. It is going to make them look a little bit crunchy if you're not careful. It is easy to get too much product with this, but it will lock you in place. I personally don't always want a super crazy intense hold, but I can work with that given that it really does lock me in all day and I don't have to worry about my brows. So I do think this is a really great option from the drugstore. I just do recommend rubbing a little bit of the applicator off on the tube before you apply it to your brows because it is very thick and can get to be too much very quickly. Coming in at number 8 is the other Miss Dior Quint that I tried out, and this is in Shocking Pink. Now I really like this one. I like this one because you do get a little bit more depth in here. You do get these 2 satin shades on the bottom. The only true matte is this very loud pink in the center, and then you get these 2 pink shimmery shades. I feel like the 2 pink shimmery shades end up looking quite similar overall, so that was one thing I wanted to note about this. But I do love that even though these are satins, these 2 actually do allow me to build them up much more than that in the bold black Quint. And I just really overall loved the looks I got from this Quint as opposed to the other one. This one is really pretty. It's really fun. Again, I don't think the formulas in these Quints stacks up as well to the Canage palettes that they released earlier this year. The formula is good, there's nothing wrong with it, but I do think the formula in the Canage palettes is better. But between this one or Bold Black, the Shocking Pink is easily my favorite. Coming in at number 7 is a foundation that was another reformulation. This is from Too Faced. This is their Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation. Now, I never tried the original formula in this. I have the shade Snow. Now, the shade Snow actually ends up being quite perfect for me. I think this looks lovely. This is very lightweight. I wouldn't say it's as lightweight as the Benefit foundation I tried last month, but it is very lightweight. It gives a really nice medium to full coverage. I love the coverage level. Very comfortable, not too dry. My only thing with this was that it didn't wear as long throughout the day as the Benefit did. That Benefit foundation, there's a lot of things about it I didn't like, but it was really bulletproof. I put it through so much and it did not break down. This foundation, I have put it through a lot more since initially testing it out, but I haven't put it through nearly as much as I put the Benefit foundation through on that first day, and it still breaks down quicker. So for that reason, I did drop this down, but I do like it overall. I think it's a really nice formula. I love the coverage level. I like the shade quite a bit, and I like that it doesn't have a fragrance. It's a nice foundation. I don't think it's going to rank in my top favorites, but it is a really nice foundation. Coming in at number 6 is from Urban Decay, and this is their Moon Dust Ice Out Quad. Now this one is having a strange release. It's currently available in Canada at Shoppers Drug Mart. I haven't seen it available anywhere else yet. I'm pretty sure it was available in China back in the spring, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that, but this is what the palette looks like. So we have 4 new Moon Dust eyeshadows. These are so pretty. If you love the Moon Dust formula, you might really like this. I wasn't sure if I would love this because it is, of course, a very blue leaning palette, but it's not as intensely blue as it looks. We do have a couple of shades that end up looking pretty blue, but it's not as intense as you think. This shade here is very, very iridescent and beautiful. This one really ends up being a little bit more silver. This one, very blue. And this one ends up being a bit more of a gunmetal. But all of the shades are so sparkly and gorgeous. I love every single time I wear them. If you love the Moon Dust formula, this might be worth splurging on when it becomes more widely available because it is really, really beautiful and high quality. I did test out their last Moon Dust palette that they came out with like this, and I like that one as well. It's definitely much more neutral leaning, but with this one, I love that we get these more unique sort of blue leaning shades, but that are really not too blue. It really leans more icy than blue. So I do think this is the absolute perfect palette for going into the winter months. And I think it's a beautiful palette. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised by this one. Coming in at number 5 is also from Dior. This is their Dior Forever Nude Matte Filter. I have the shade One Fair. So they did release a new pressed powder this month. I do absolutely love the packaging. I think it's so beautiful. This does have a fragrance to it, much like all of their other powders. It has a very floral fragrance, but the powder itself is really lovely. This has a little bit of a tint to it, but not too much. It is definitely very blurring, but it's very, very lightweight. It is so lightweight. It's one of those that I feel like if you have an oilier skin type, I don't know that this would be strong enough. Just because I find it to be very lightweight and almost undetectable on my skin. Like it will take the shine down a little bit, but nothing crazy. I feel like the glow from my foundation and things like that will still come through. And I appreciate that because I have very dry skin, but just keep that in mind. If you have tried this and you have an oilier skin type, let me know your thoughts. Maybe it's just a really lightweight powder, but I would love to know your thoughts if you have oilier skin because I just don't think this would be strong enough. As someone who has very dry skin who wants to take the shine out of my foundations, but not lose any sort of radiance or life I have in my skin, I think this is a fantastic powder. I love this. I don't like it more than the Givenchy pressed powder. I have also been testing out the new Lancome pressed powder finally, and I don't think I like this more than that, but I do think this is a lovely powder. Coming in at number 4 is from Sephora Collection, and this is where the Sephora Collection 100% redeems itself. This is their Blur It Loose setting powder. This is a fantastic powder. So I have the shade Pink. And the packaging on this, I raved about this in a recent video, is so well thought out. So it does come like this. You get an actually very, very useful puff. I said in my initial review that a lot of times brands will throw in a puff and it's not one that's actually useful, but this is 100% what we're buying anyway. And then it's got this little lid that's on a hinge, and then you have the mesh. The packaging was so well designed. It was so thoughtfully designed. And the powder itself is also very blurring. It really locks you in. It really just takes care of everything, addresses all your concerns. This is an excellent loose powder. The only thing I wish they would do is they have a pink and a yellow. I really wish they would open it up to translucent shades as well, because I don't always want a pink powder. This is a pink powder without being too pink though. It gives you that brightening effect, but it doesn't look like you put blush under your eyes, which I do appreciate. So I do love that. I just wish that they had a wider range of shades. Coming in at number 3 is a concealer I tried this month that is absolutely incredible. This is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Full Cover Concealer. Now my absolute favorite concealer is the Natasha Denona High Glam. That hasn't changed, but this is fantastic. I have the shade 1NO2. This is a concealer that has a little brush in the cap that is actually very, very useful. very helpful to blend. The concealer itself, you actually get 9 ml of product, which is, I think, quite a bit for a concealer. This really does give you that very full coverage while not being too heavy, not looking too dry or cakey. It blends like a dream. It has a thinner consistency, but still manages to give you that really great full coverage that I love so much. This is one that I would easily consider using all over my face as a foundation if I was in a hurry. I'm pretty sure I've done that. So I've really been loving this. This wears all day long. It gives minimal creasing. Makeup Forever very rarely misses when it comes to complexion products, but this one is an absolute hit. This is just everything I want in a full coverage concealer. It's so, so good. Coming in at number 2 is from Dior, and these are their Dior Forever Blush Soft Filters. I love these so much. I think these might be my favorite ever liquid blush formula. Now, I mentioned this in my review, but I initially only picked up one shade. I was just going to film a short with it and then maybe talk about it in some other videos, but I wasn't going to do a dedicated review. I picked up one shade, I picked up the shade Petal, and then I tried it on and I instantly fell in love with this formula and ordered 2 more shades and did a dedicated review. So the shade Petal is like a soft pink. Then there is Peony, which is like a rosy beige. And then I also picked up Hibiscus, which is like a really beautiful red. These are very, very heavy bottles, but this formula has this whipped moussey consistency. So it is like a soft matte when you blend it out on the skin. It does kind of mimic the finish of the foundation that's underneath, which I do like, but it has the most beautiful blurring qualities on the skin. It's so easy to blend. It's so effortless. It takes 0 time to blend these out, and then they just look gorgeous on the cheeks. And these are easily some of the most blurring blushes that I have, especially for a liquid. Now, I'm not always a huge liquid blush type of girl, but these are turning me into that because I love these so much. I don't have any blushes that are like this in terms of consistency. I compared these to a bunch of other liquid blushes that I have and nothing compares. I don't have any liquid blushes that are sort of moussey and whipped like this and have that soft matte blend. I think someone mentioned in my review that the YSL liquid blushes were the same. I just picked up a shade of those and I don't see it personally, but these, easily one of my absolute top favorite liquid blushes, if not my top favorite. And the number 1 spot actually goes for Dior. Dior really had an up and down throughout this video. They came in at the bottom, but they're also coming in right at the top at number 1. This is the Dior Rouge Dior On Stage High Shine Lipstick. I have the shade 120. I actually hate how much I love this because this is so expensive, but this is a beautiful slim lipstick. It has this sort of teardrop tip. The color itself that I picked up, I believe, is Iconic Rose. It's just this gorgeous neutral pink. When you put this on, it goes on, it feels so wet and shiny. It almost feels like an oil. It's so shiny. And it kind of has this vinyl effect on the lips. So while it stays super shiny, it also dries down. So it ends up being super long wearing. I don't think I've ever experienced a creamy, super high shine lipstick that actually lasts for hours on end. Like, I will put this on in the morning, I will leave the house, I will do some errands, I will have coffee, I will have water, I will come home, and the color will still be there. Some of the shine may have dulled down a little bit, but the color is still going to be there. It is so impressive. The only shiny lipsticks I've ever experienced that from are those liquid lipsticks where you put on the liquid lipstick and then you seal it in with that shiny top coat, and then the top coat wears away, but you're left with the color. I've never had that from a tube lipstick before. This is truly unique and fantastic, in my opinion. I love this lipstick. I did not want to love this because, you know, really expensive, but I want more shades of these. This is such a good formula. But that is it. Those are the 17 products I tried in the month of August. It was an excellent month for new makeup. I had so much fun testing and playing with all of these. I do want to say another huge thank you to Amiro for working with me on today's video. Don't forget to use my code if you are interested in shopping one of these within the next 2 weeks. But thank you again to Amiro for working with me on today's video. Let me know down below, what was your favorite product in the month of August? Did you find anything new, or did you just shop your stash? Did you rediscover any new old favorites? Let me know that too. I love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.